What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Pondering Nerd Show. I am Nate Rowe, and what we do on this show is we talk about nerd culture in general. You know, we're nerds pondering hard about these tough decisions and topics that we talk about. That sounded horrible. Whatever. We talk about movies, comics, TV. You know, tech world. What's going on? And so, speaking of movies and stuff, we gonna talk about a little about superheroes. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things that everybody loves since they were a kid is flying through the sky or crawling on a wall or being super strong. You know what I mean? And kind of got me thinking of what were going to be some of my least favorite and most favorites superhero movies to date. You know what I mean? I kind of wanted to toss that around the table and see where everybody was on that. By the way, we should have everybody introduce themselves, I guess. You know what I'm saying? I'm Nate Rowe. I'm going to be your host, and we also have...
Masood House.
And we have Mickey.
I'm Lance John.
Alrighty, what's up, guys? What's up, guys? So, yeah, let me go ahead and just toss this out there. We'll start with favorites, because that one should be a little bit easier. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has a fond memory. So we'll go ahead. We'll start with you, Lance. What was your favorite superhero movie to date?
Just I can only pick one.
Yeah, for time's sake, we'll try to narrow it down to your favorite. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. To date, I would say my favorite one that I can watch anytime is probably damn. There's so many. I'm trying to just like roll through my Rolodex in my head. I would say the first Superman movie. The not the one from the
1980s?
Yeah, the one from the 80s, not the one from the 50s. The one with Christopher Reeves. Christopher Reeves, the first Superman movie. I would say that right there was actually my first introduction to superhero type of movies. I didn't even know, I was a kid. I didn't even know. I was like, wait, you telling me this shit exists? The cartoons that I see? What? It's like, so I would say, yeah, that was like my first, just getting into it. It's like, yeah, I love it. And my father had it on VHS, and I watched that thing so many times. I think I popped the tape. I got clear. What's that tape called? The Scotch tape, and I put it back together, and I watched it again. And yeah, that's like my favorite one out of all of them. Quite honestly, yeah.
That's what's up, Mickey. You know what your favorite one is?
Yeah. When I think about great superhero movies, sometimes I feel lost because I wasn't that avid of a comic book reader when I was little. I read nonfiction books mostly. But one movie that comes to mind every time is Unbreakable. That is my most favorite movie of all time. I saw it for the first time back in 2010. And
really?
Yeah. I'm late in the game, Don't yell at me. But better late than never. That's what I always say.
That's 10 years late.
Yeah. But see, I'm an appreciator of classics and films that passed me by, but I show my recognition for them.
Hipster.
I am not, sir. Take that back. Damn it. I'm in a category all my own. I appreciate Unbreakable because, so I dig Samuel L. Jackson in his wise-ass ways, but his role as Elijah Price, he showed a vulnerability that I have never seen from him thus far.
Yeah.
So to see him in this...
I don't think he ever dropped an F-bomb in that movie, if I remember correctly.
Not one. I don't think
That's
so
tame
either.
for Samuel L. Jackson.
Shit, yeah,
Not
man.
one F-bomb.
Yeah, but wow, he was frail and strong in his convictions at the same time. So we had this frailty and this strength. And at the same time, you had Bruce Willis, which he was this quiet rock that did not know his potential until he was brought to the task, until he was faced with this. He was faced with the decision of being the superhero that he was born to be, and he didn't know his potential until the opportunity came about. And I feel that way about everybody. I don't know. Maybe it's the Buddhist in me or whatever, but I feel like we all have our qualities that shine through when we're challenged the most, or when we see someone else in need the most, or when, I don't know, when the opportunity presents itself in the proper time. This movie was not based on a comic book. So I also appreciate that too, because it wasn't something that I felt lost around. It was a story by M. Night Shyamalan. Shyamalan. Am I saying it right?
Shyamalan.
Yeah. That's about as close as anyone.
M. Night Shyamalan, yeah. That's,
yes.
As much as we can say it.
Nice. Yeah. So it was a brand new story. And I liked the art of the film. Like, it was Elijah Price, he had his gallery, and there was a lot of cool art in there. I liked that. I liked Bruce Willis's quiet backstory, and I loved seeing the challenges play out for both Elijah and for Bruce Willis's character, David Dunn. It mirrored, funny enough, a lot of stuff that was happening in my life, and I really dug it. I dug the film a lot.
Cool, man.
I would say that's my favorite.
Awesome. Awesome answer, you. What about you, House? I mean, I know you consider yourself a big comic book guy, man. What's your take on superhero movies, man? What's your favorite?
It's funny because, like, your listeners don't know, but we had a little list that we looked at to check these out, and like the nerd in me that has grown up watching most of these, I forgot about a lot of these movies and how shitty a lot of them were. And growing up as a kid in the late 80s and early 90s, and just seeing like how crappy a lot of our movies were when I was a kid is like crazy. But I really did love a lot of movies growing up, and right now I have to say that I think we're in a really great era of comic movies now. I mean, just this last month and a half with Captain America 2 and the Days of Future Past, I know it's gonna sound like blasphemy, but I'm really gonna like put those on my pedestal right now. Captain America 2. Now I'm gonna put a little disclaimer out there. I never loved Captain America growing up. I thought he was like this, like, like the same way people look at Superman as this like super Boy Scout. I was like, Captain America is even worse to me because he is the red, white, and blue, and I was like, this is like so corny, and then
over the top, patriotic.
Yeah, like,
but
just every
super saturated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then 2000s came along and he got like really cool in the way they were depicting him in the comics, and then the movie came along, the first one, it wasn't that great, but Captain America the Winter Soldier, I feel like, is one of those movies where they took what could be a really corny character, who's been around since I forget whether he was one of the ones that came in 1939 or in the 1940s, but he's been around since World War II, like around the time of Superman. And they took, the thing I loved is that the Russo brothers who directed it, they like spoke with one of the major Captain America writers, one of the ones who has written him the best in the recent years. And they not only stuck true to the story, even though they did a completely different like take on the plot, they still stuck true to the spirit of the story and gave us a Captain America who's badass, who's fun to watch, who stands for America while not being just a poster boy for the typical American dream. Yeah. And it kicked ass. It was a spy thriller, which I really love. It was a superhero film, which I really love. And it really elevated the genre. And I'm going to say this against the Batman Nolan fans out there. I think it's better than the Nolan trilogy only because the pacing was great. It never slowed down too much. Everything went together. It was fantastic to me. So I'm going to put that on my pedestal right now. And And I'm going to give a quick little credit to Days of Future Past, since they cleaned up the X-Men franchise, which is my #1 comic love, and, you know, gave me a little hope for the future. So just throw that out there.
Cool.
That's what's up. And we definitely want to get into X-Men a little bit right before we end the show. We want to talk about that just a little bit. I guess I'll go ahead and throw my favorite out there, and I'm going to go with a childhood favorite. I remember this movie blowing my mind the first time I saw it, but it wasn't the original Batman with... I can't even say that was the original, because I guess the original was Adam West. But it wasn't the one with... it wasn't...
Jack Nicholson?
Yeah, it wasn't that Batman. It wasn't that one.
Keaton?
It was Batman Returns. Well, yeah, Michael Keaton was playing Batman. But yeah,
the Tim Burton Batman.
Yeah,
the
Batman
Michelle
Returns.
Pfeiffer.
Yeah, with Catwoman and with Penguin. You know, I loved that movie. It was back in the day. It was almost the equivalent of kind of what Christopher Nolan was going for with the dark grittiness of a Batman series. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't flashy yet. You know, it hadn't hit Batman Forever, where everything is just over the top. You know what I mean?
Neon
this was still,
nipples.
this was still, you know, when a Batmobile looked like the Batmobile. It didn't look like this freaking tank, you know what I mean? It was the Batmobile, and it had armor, and, you know, I remember Penguin's people, like, sabotaging it, and, you know, it was just awesome. I remember as a kid that blowing my mind, and, you know, to this day, even though when you watch it, you know, yes, the graphics are cheesy nowadays and stuff like that, I still, you know, have that place in my heart for it. You know what I mean? And I guess on that note, places in your heart, we'll go to the other side of your heart where you hate it the most, you know what I'm saying? So we're going to go right into least favorite. And I guess this time I'll just go ahead and start off real quick. I have a real bone to pick. We're going to talk about the new X-Men at the end of the show, like I said. But my least favorite, I have to get this out there to anybody that'll listen. The Last Stand, X-Men 3, The Last Stand, was just, I hated it so much, man, I with a passion, because it was just not, now don't get me wrong, I did not, unfortunately, I did not read a lot of the comics growing up. I did watch the cartoon series, and, you know, I was really into it and stuff like that, but just a lot of the stuff that happened on Last Stand, I was like, what? Like, yeah, spoiler alert. I'm sorry, the movie's been out for a while. I'm going to go ahead and spoil some of the stuff.
You can spoil it, yeah. I'm sorry.
I didn't like the first freaking 10, 15 minutes of the movie, and I'm like, what? What is that?
Yeah,
you know,
that hurt my heart.
You know what I mean? And it's just, from then on, you know, and then, you know, Professor Xavier just gets, like, destroyed, dematerialized, and it's like, what? No, come on. You know, so there was just so many things that happened. I lost all my faith in X-Men, you know what I mean? I have seen, like I told you guys earlier, I have seen the X-Men Wolverine Origins or whatever. It was all right. It was decent, and you know, you've said, House, that you know the new ones are pretty worth it. They're pretty decent as well, so I will have to check those out. But yeah, I just lost all faith with X-Men in that stand. So, Lance, what about you, man? What's one of your least favorites, or your least favorite?
Boy, so many in the list about my least favorites. I'm going to stick with the 2000s, and let me see. My least favorites, in no particular order: Daredevil, X-Men United, Hulk, the first one, Punisher, the first one, Catwoman, I want to kill everyone involved.
Damn it, you took mine.
Is there any one of them, though, that, like, actually, instead, I mean, because, I mean, you're kind of just listing bad films in general. Like,
yes, that's why they were my least favorite.
Like, pissed you off, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, I would say the last movie that really pissed me off, the last superhero movie that really, really pissed me off was Iron Man 3. That one pissed me off. I couldn't, because it was all a lie. The way they put out the trailer made me feel like, okay, we are going to, whatchamacallit, they made it seem like it was going to be dark, it's going to be gritty, he's going to lose something, holy shit, they're going to go in this direction. It was like, you know, taking that, the whole, pretty much bringing Tony Stark a peg or two, just bring him down a peg or two, you know, and just trying to what's the call? How would you pronounce it? Like making it like, cause he's such a playboy. Yeah, like so. What I hated about that movie was just, I don't know. It's like I hate it with it. I came out of the movie theater hating it with with the passion of 1,000 suns burning, and it's just like I like I was saying before, the trailer threw everything off for me. It made it seem like it was going to be one. It was going to be this theme for the movie, and it was going to be dark, and it was going to be very drama filled, and then it just turned into, just happened to be. It, for me, it wasn't a superhero movie. It was just a movie that happened to have a superhero in it. If that makes any sense to anyone,
Wow.
and it just, I didn't. I on the surface as a movie, I thought it was okay. It was a campy. It was fun. It was funny and everything like that. But as a superhero movie, it is not. It shouldn't even like. You know, as a nerd, if I could have the power to strike it from the Iron Man series, I would, because you know, even
Man.
yeah, like I just, it's like it doesn't serve for anything. They really fucked up the Mandarin. They really messed up the Extremist storyline and everything like that. I mean, but they did actually kind of redeem themselves with the Marvel one shot. If you guys seen that one, I think it was called Hail the King or something like that. This was like
Talking about where he's in prison.
yeah, like they actually
That was pretty funny, man.
yeah,
that
it was
pretty good.
funny, and they actually fixed that whole Mandarin problem for me. But it still doesn't forgive the Extremist plot that they fucked up. But you know, but it also kind of fixed it in the show Marvel Agents of Shield. They actually fixed that whole plot with the Extremists there. You know, kind of. But if you guys read the Extremist stuff, I would say if you have Netflix, look for the Iron Man Extremist motion comic on Netflix. That actually gives you a really, really good idea as to what I'm talking about. And if you've seen Iron Man 3, you know, watch these two back to back and you see where they went wrong, what should have happened, and how deep they could have gotten with this particular character. You know, and it was just, you know, I mean, the movie has major issues, but that's a whole nother, you know, like I don't want to spend a half an hour explaining to people why it sucked. But
I was gonna say, man, that's kind of crazy harsh. Like, I thought it was awesome, but I mean, you know, I guess I'm glad I didn't say that earlier. You know, it's out of the bag now. But I actually thought Iron Man 3 was pretty good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wasn't particularly a fan of 2, or not. Excuse me, the first one, the very first one, I wasn't too big a fan of. And one thing I will say that disappointed me about 3 was like the whole, you know. In the trailer, they did make it seem like he's going back to his roots. He's going back to being an inventor. He's not going to have his Iron Man suit. He's going to have to figure out how to do. And I mean, literally, that culminated to, again, spoiler alert, that culminated to him making a taser gun that, you know, worked one time. and like you know, I was really let down because it didn't, you know, yeah, he fixed up, I guess, the Iron Man, which the kid helped him, you know what I mean, a little sidekick helped him, you know, and it's cool and everything. It wasn't that dark, gritty movie, but I still liked it. I almost feel like if it went dark and gritty, you know, people would have thought it was going to try to be like Batman, or it was going to try to be like the Dark Knight, you know what I mean? And you know, so I guess their decision to kind of keep it a little more flashy with graphics, a little bit brighter and stuff. But you know, to each is his own. You know, just to let you guys know, we did lose House. Call dropped. Freaking Skype. You know what I'm saying? But he will be back next week, and we will be talking about X-Men, Days of Future Past, a little bit further in detail next week. But just continuing on, Mickey, what was your least favorite?
My least favorite movie, superhero movie, would be Catwoman. And Lance mentioned it earlier, but I have
that was a movie.
Man, I don't know what it was. I don't really care. It was a boring Sunday. I said, okay, it's on cable. I'll watch it. And I regret it. Man. I could have been knitting. I could have been doing something else. I don't know, but I decided to watch it.
Yeah.
Very sad day for me. It was just, it was
Just bad.
so, it was just bad. It was just bad. It wasn't funny. She tried too hard with her lines. Halle Berry has had her funny moments in different movies, but in this one, it was kind of painful. Like, Catwoman is a very wise ass character, but Halle Berry didn't pull it off well. It's just,
it's it's funny. If you guys check Box Office Mojo, this is a website where you can go. You put in whatever movies you want to see how they're doing financially, like like how much it cost to make and how much they actually made back. So the production budget for this movie was $100 million. In its life,
why?
Domestically, it only did 40 million. And overseas, it did 41 million. And so altogether, in its entire run, it did about $82 million. So it didn't even make back the production.
I'm wondering where the money went. Where did it go? To her pay? Like Halle Berry's pay?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what was involved. I mean, this was made back when 2004. So it's been more than a decade.
2005.
It's been a decade. Shit. Yeah. Actually.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it came out in 2004.
It got 9% on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah. So, and I trust Rotten Tomatoes pretty much. Like, I like the reviews and stuff like that. So, but like I said, I saw it on a boring day and it was on, and that's the only real reason why I watched it. I don't know. I mean, she's sexy as hell. No lie, in the movie.
Your flash player may be
definitely had this like S&M element to it, which is of Catwoman's character in general. I think similar to Wonder Woman. Like, you had the whole like domineering woman kind of thing, which appeals to some men. But it was strained, and it didn't do Catwoman's role justice at all. I don't know. I know
nothing about Catwoman like lore, but did it have some type of storyline that involved, like, what was the story? Because as far as I understood, Catwoman was just a side character to Batman. I never had read any of her comics, so I didn't know anything. I don't know anything that happens to Catwoman specifically. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I don't know. I always looked at that movie as totally just something. Almost, I look at that movie like Snakes on a Plane. Okay.
No.
It was a bunch. No. Listen to me. It was a bunch of rich guys just had a bunch of money, wanted to make a movie. So, like, okay, the theory behind Snakes on a Plane was, let's get Samuel L. Jackson and put him on a plane with a bunch of snakes. It's going to be crazy. That's literally the premise behind when they were asked why they made this movie. They just had the money and they wanted to make it. I almost see this as...
I respect that more than I respect this Catwoman film.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I almost think it was like some rich guy just like, I bet you Halle Berry would be smoking hot as Catwoman. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? And,
I would have to disagree with Mickey. I did not think she was hot at all in any way, shape, form, or fashion in this movie. I quite honestly, I enjoyed, what was her name? And is her name Anne Hathaway, the new Catwoman in the Nolan movies?
Yeah, definitely.
I think she was a lot better. I think she paid homage more to Catwoman.
Definitely.
But to answer Nate's question about if there was a story, no, there wasn't really any story.
No.
It was just like, oh, she's shy. She fell off a roof.
Extremely shy.
Some cats licked her, and she's like, yeah, cat powers. I'm like,
well, let's be for real though. That was how they went with Michelle Pfeiffer's audition.
Yeah. They're like, quite
back
honestly,
then they didn't really have the graphics to be able to show any kind of like transformation in the body or something. I mean, nowadays we have the CGI that they could make it like her cells were transforming or something. You know what I mean? Like back then they kind of. I don't know how they would really do. I do remember the cats chewing on her fingers, and I remember as a kid that freaking me out for some reason.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And then her eyes like twitching.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, that's just nasty. It's like nasty as a kid.
I have some bad news to the both of you. for people who like, you know, those cat ladies, people who love cats, and then you know, you hear the story that they ended up dying and their cats are just all over the place.
Yeah.
So yeah, when the food runs out in the house,
Yeah.
they go and they start nibbling on the owner. So yeah.
And on that note, we're their owners.
Thanks, Lance. You're awesome.
We're gonna go ahead and call this segment over. Just wanted to thank you guys again for tuning in. Be sure to check us out on Facebook, check us out on Twitter, follow us, like us, troll us, do whatever you like. Just be involved with us. That's all we really ask. Also, a couple things to keep in mind. Check out the tickets go on sale for Comic-Con on June 18th. That's a Wednesday, so keep that open because we would love to see everybody come out and get
We're all
with
going to be there.
Oh, everybody's going to be there. We're going to have a great time, so everybody come on out. Yeah. Anybody else? Lance, you got anything?
That's it, really. Oh, yeah, we're also on Tumblr. Just look for Pondering Nerd Show, or I think it's just Pondering Nerds. I don't quite remember, but yeah, we're also on there. So we're trying to give everybody choice. Whatever your favorite social platform is, we will be on it. So you can just follow us there and tell us what you think and all that good stuff. Yeah.
All right. Well, appreciate it, guys. This has been Pondering Nerds. I'm Nate Rowe.
I'm Lance John.
And I'm Mickey. Thank you so much for listening.
Yes.
Hey, you guys have an awesome week. Talk to y'all later.
Later.
Peace.